I was a cancer patient, a cancer survivor 25 years ago. I had these questions about how my disease would go. And that's exactly the kind of work that we do here at Talon. We've built a lab in this unique environment right next to an elementary school, next to an ice cream shop next door. And one of the reasons that we've done that is so that people can see science happening right inside our community. My name is Pratip Chattopadhyay, and I'm CEO and founder of Talon Biomarkers. It's important when we talk about science in the community that we are exposing people to the scientific process as well. When you've been in that position yourself and you can understand the fear, the concern, the hopelessness, or the hope in some cases, right? I get this opportunity often to interact with people on that level where I can talk to them as a former patient and say, yeah, I know that you got diagnosed with cancer. And in fact, the UPS driver, she's a fantastically friendly woman. I've gotten to know her, and she comes in here one day, she drops off a package and she says to me, you know, do you do any work with pancreatic cancer? And I said, well, when I was at NYU, I used to study the immune response in pancreatic cancer patients a bit. And she said, my sister died of pancreatic cancer. She just wanted to hear that somebody was working on that. And it kind of supports the memory of, you know, their loved one, but just knowing that it's an important issue and that somebody is working on it kind of gives a little bit of solace to people, I like to think at least. I remember most vividly when I first got diagnosed, I was looking up the statistics on survival and relapse. You know, is this gonna be okay? And how am I gonna know if I relapse? That sort of lack of information sparks me as a scientist because I'm looking for ways of understanding which patients will relapse, which patients won't do as well with their treatment, or who will have very effective treatment. So Talon Biomarkers is a company that studies the immune system. We measure many, many different aspects and traits of immune cells. And one of the advantages of that is that we're getting as much information as possible from every cell that we study. When I started Talon, I recognized that it was going to require a leap from me. It was going to require some stupid courage where I had to just believe that everything would be okay without having all of the evidence right in front of me. So the main instrument that we work with in the lab is the Invitrogen Bigfoot spectral cell sorter. And that is a 50 detector flow cytometer that also sorts. And that's particularly valuable for us because we can offer clients just analysis where we're just looking at the cells that are in the sample, or we can actually purify them and do downstream assays and more experiments with them. And we have the option of using either approach here, the spectral analysis or the more conventional traditional fluorescent analysis. So our first project here at Talon Biomarkers was one that was working on a vaccine, a therapeutic vaccine for brain cancer, for glioblastoma. And it was a really exciting project to do because it brought our ability to do high parameter, multiple marker measurements, deep detailed measurements of T cells in the patient setting. Every sample that we get from a clinical trial is actually a patient sample. And so we want to maximize the value that we're taking from that patient sample. When I see that vial, I really see a patient. And when we think about patients, we're really talking about all of us. We're talking about the people on the street, we're talking about our friends, our neighbors, our families. And so we're talking about the community and ultimately the science that we do, the work that we do trying to help drugs be discovered, trying to identify different cell types that are important in disease, that all relates back to the people that are around us. And so to be able to embrace that uncertainty and actually take leaps into things that bring us joy, bring us power, is incredibly important and valuable. And that's always been an important piece of why I do the science, because I love it. And that can be the underlying foundation for having stupid courage, is the love of what you do.